Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Aruna.
Namaste. Namaste, Jai Shankar. Welcome to Satsang. Thank you for all of you for being here. To all the Zoomers who are present here today, taking the time off for your own evolving, if that's what you want. I'm assuming because you're all here. So today, I got this download at 4 a.m. Woke me up. So we usually don't give the titles. Krishna does it, but today the title, Humility and Total Surrender for Self-Realization. Sharanagati, Sharanagati, Sharanagati. It means surrender, total surrender, no? So we have spoken about humility in the prerequisites. Haven't gone through too much with this group, but I told you to catch up on the YouTube videos. And Sharanagati or surrender, can you hear me at the back? Sharanagati or surrender has to be total. So we'll talk a little bit about the combination of these two aspects, which is humility first. Because when you're humble, the more you delve into these deeper dimensions of yourself, which is the Supreme Reality, recognizing the Supreme Reality is you only, Satchitananda. And then you are doing it with humility, then what happens? This absolute magic. So with this being has experienced this for many, many years, because when it came to that state of being, it was the benefits of humility and total surrender is very expansive and very deep. But what our Shastras, our scriptures say that, and all the great masters say that, even when you come to that levels of consciousness, go deeper. In other words, keep yourself open to higher dimensions within yourself. Not say, I'm all done, I'm enlightened, and so, you'll experience the sense of total freedom, peace, joy, tranquility, serenity, everything. But when you're open to it, there's more coming, no? Why is that? Why I'm so sure about that is because of the Sharanagati, because of the total surrender. At every moment you're in total surrender means you have no idea what's coming through for you. So basically, instead of us being in this little box of self-will, because like you believe the mind and the intellect and you're conducting your life, which is okay. And all of these wonderful things happen and then you're very happy and everything. And there's a beautiful bhajan we're going to play afterwards, which says, I wanted all of these desires to be fulfilled. And I'm going into this world with full, energy. And I'm fulfilling quite a few of my desires. And after a while, I'm just tired. Even though some of those desires has been fulfilled, I just felt tired and I came home and I simply sat and I was in silence. And then I suddenly realized that Shiva, that energy which I've been searching, is within me. And there is this splendid silence and tranquility takes over my life. And then there's only Shiva. Shiva means consciousness, the universal consciousness that's conducting our lives. So when we step out of our own concepts and perspectives and, tiny little, see, the self is only very little. The little self is very little. with its positionalities, with its name and form and everything. But once you step out of it and say, okay, when you're stepping out of it, you don't really know what's going to happen. And that's where the Sharanagati comes, because it's simply magic. It went to a deeper level because of my dad and everything. As you all know, my father passed away when I was, just after I left, and I was there for 19 days with him. So when you're stepping out of your self-will, what happens is the higher consciousness within yourself takes over your life and conducts it the best for you, the highest and best for you, which we do not know. We think, oh, what we are doing is great, I'm just fantastic, I'm this great guru, or I'm this great philosopher, or I'm this great surgeon. But beyond all of it, what death really makes you recognize is that everything you're doing and achieving in this life cannot be taken with you. Cannot be taken with you. The only thing you can take with you is your peace, your tranquility, and your understanding of life in full, that you are the Satchitananda. You're not this little insignificant being with some of your own ideas. You get my point? So when you're like in this levels of consciousness and you think, oh, you've arrived and everything, that's okay, that's very good. But how do you go deeper? So when you continue to be in that surrendered, complete, total surrender, suppose you're in total surrender and something in the mind comes and says, Gracie, you can do a little bit this and that. And suppose you decide to surrender something completely, then you will simply know this can be dropped and that can be dropped, and this needs to be picked up here and now, and you'll get up and do it. Make sense? So, when you're going into the deeper levels of Sharanagati with humility, and I'm assuming that some of you have experienced that deep levels of consciousness, and then you are simply also still in Sharanagati, total surrender. See, in the beginning, when you are in the beginning stages, when you are saying, yes, you're listening to Ma and saying, okay, I'm in Sharanagati, I'm very humble, and sometimes you may think, I'm not very humble. Humility is not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Why should I be so humble? I mean, what's the big deal in humility? So what you do is you simply surrender to that infinity within you and say, Lord, I can't deal with this humility. I really don't know what she's talking about. But, I'm going to just surrender that as well. And as soon as you do that, you are in this simply, if this surrender is sincere and loving and absolute, you're absolutely doing it, then comes humility, like that. All of a sudden you're looking and saying, oh my God, it feels so humble. Why am I so humble? Do I need to be that humble? Because, the mind will question you, all these things. Then magic happens when that two combinations are there in your life. What I realized, I'll give you a small analogy. When I was in India, I mean, like I humbly said in the beginning, this being has been totally enjoying the benefits of this. Literally, it's very difficult for me to talk even. I've been enjoying the benefits of this combination for many years. But I'm here to tell you that you can even go deeper. And when that depth is realized, at a deeper, state of consciousness is realized, it's extremely expansive beyond the understanding of the intellect. Here now we are going into intelligence of the heart, not the intellect of the mind. See what I'm saying? So when you go to the intelligence of the heart, it's beyond comprehension, beyond our little understanding of the self. So in that expansive state, all kinds of things happen. When you get up in the morning, you're planning your day or something like that, and suddenly something else happens in your life, entirely different from what you planned. So do you have the courage to go that route? You're a great planner, you've done everything beautifully for today. And then you're sitting in meditation. Shifts gears. You're not going to do this silly thing you've been doing for 50 years. You change something within you, says, just go here. I say, okay, you want me to just go and walk in the park? And you're telling me not to take the nice, glassy, paved way, and you want me to walk in that thing, I said, yeah. It's just an analogy, but in life will take. You say, okay, what's this going to happen? Okay. And you walk and then you see the magic. I'm just giving you in like riddles, right? You're wondering like, what's Ma going to say now? So it's a very intimate sharing. So first of all, I didn't want to do personal, but then 4 o'clock the downloads came. You got to speak about this. So okay, Shambha, okay. So I'm sitting there and I had shared with Barbara, and so I was just sitting there in meditation because I'd seen my dad in February and just came back. And and then I said, okay, I've said bye to him and everything. I was very happy. And I said, it's okay, whenever he passes, I'll try to make it. That was my take on it. That was the little self. And then I was sitting in meditation and something told me, like, go now, because I heard he was transitioning. He was like, and it was like simply an orchestration. Get up, book your tickets, go. And I'm going, whoa, wait a minute, where did that come from? So when I told Barbara, she said it was like she fell off the rock, or she was like, when she read that thing from me, she fell off the rock, and this was like, what did you say? This was like...
my face
like,
fell in the soup.
Oh, no, not only that, she said it was earthquake intensity. So, this is like randomly I'm telling somebody in the group, And then this after I came back from India, like just a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, something. So what happens is at that time, there was no questioning of, do I have the funds? Why should I go? Either blah, 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 There's nothing there in total Sharanagati. Why I'm saying total Sharanagati is because if you in some way, really want to experience the benefits of this total freedom, it has to be total Sharanagati. So left everything, didn't question anything, booked my ticket and saying, oh my goodness, 3 times the normal economy ticket, okay. So anyway, I go there and it was like my sister-in-law was praying that he wouldn't leave before I arrived. It was that bad. But he lasted for 19 days. And every single day was like unbelievable, I was there with him and he was just like so happy. Once he recognized I'd come, he was just like, he didn't want to leave. He said, you and me, I've got the money. Let's go to United States. He showed the plane like I said, Dad, you still have those desires? So I says, let's go. Just take me out of here, and all this stuff. He said, he's very funny, and he's been very active throughout his life, and even like a month ago. So you can't keep him in bed. So he's telling me, my mind is really excellent, but this body, you have to do something about it, like that. So every single day, just working with him, being with him at like 24/7, a couple of hours, I would just go up to my home, to my ashram, and turn the AC on and sit there because it's freaking hot, But what I'm saying, why I'm giving you is like this is the analogy of this total freedom. So every time when you delve into the total Sharanagati, you have to take one moment at a time, one day at a time. When you do that, you will see this beautiful orchestration happening in your life. initially, Ma said all of this, and where's the beauty in my life? You'll be thinking, but be patient. Because what is Sharanagati? It's not that you have this expectation, right? Sharanagati is not you not kind of, having an expectation and having a desire and making it happen and all that. Everything has to be given up. So it sounds very simple, but it's not that it's not that easy to achieve. But if you achieve it, it's something within you is leading you every moment. And there were a lot of challenges too, with environment and whatever. I don't want to say specifics, but you keep going one day at a time. And I would just be freshly have a bath and everything. I still remember, I would bend over him and he noticed everything. My mala would come down like that, and he would notice my mala, he would notice my vibhu. He was looking at my face, and then he would give me a big smile. And then it was funny, like it was my birthday on July 8th. So my sister-in-law said, you have to go buy a gift, like I have to give you something, you have to wear something. I said, please, for God's sake, I'm not going shopping right now. So anyway, and she says, no, your brother is going to take you and you have to go. And I'm saying, oh my God. So I went to tell my dad, I'm going out for a little shopping. He says, why? You're leaving me and going. So I said, it's my birthday. Remember, Dad, it's my birthday. When he said, I said 8th. So he said 8th, very good number. And you know what he told me? We started going to philosophy, and I was sharing with some of the people, he knew 4 languages, but he was only talking the local language, which is Tamil. So in Tamil, he was telling, you don't need money, you don't need land, you don't need anything, you only need a good heart. And if you have an 8 number, then he tells me all this philosophy, then he says, if you want to buy land, number 8. If you want to buy a house, number 8. I'm saying that. It's like literally funny. I'm looking at it. And then anyway, I went for shopping and came and I bought something. And then the next day I went to him and he said, your birthday already? I said, no, one more day, tomorrow. He says, okay. It's like, I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. It's so funny. Then he says, okay, whenever he shows the Godrej Bureau, there's no money in there. The money is in the bank. But he says, that means he's saying, take my money. He says, take my money and buy something nice. And he's saying, and you take whatever you want, okay? And he says, okay, Daddy. He says, don't say, Daddy, I don't want. He's telling me like this, Don't say, I don't want. I said, oh my God, you're getting so funny. Things like that, So every moment I was with him, see, like the important thing I want to tell you, there's the Sakshi. Sakshi means witness. You're that supreme awareness witness. And this personality, your manifestation, called Sharada or, Gracie or whoever, is conducting your life from this Sakshi. That means at every moment, whatever you're conducting, you're witnessing also. And in that witnessing, with awareness, you simply drop some useless, silly thing which you have been doing all this time. It does not bring you joy. You're dropping. But that Sakshi is simply witnessing this beautiful thing that's happening. In my case. So then you become the master. You're not a slave to the ego mind telling you what to do. See what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Then you become the witness and as well as your master of yourself. And then everything that is conducted in your life is for your highest and best. And that will bring you to total peace, freedom, serenity, love, everything. Unconditional love, compassion to everybody who comes into your life. For whatever reason, you don't know, you're just simply doing it. And the feedback of it is immense, is what I'm humbly trying to tell you. So all this was happening. What I'm saying is when you are going into the deeper levels of 100% Sharanagati, what happens is just analogies that I'm giving you. So all of a sudden, I got in touch with one of my old teachers who taught me everything, which I do not use now. Quantum healing, quantum everything, So he suddenly got in touch with me and I was helping a couple of things. He says, oh, I can do this healing, And my father, so 12th night I left at 9 o'clock. 9 p.m. At that time, he was pretty not aware, because I was not going to say bye to him, because he will not, he will not let me go. He already told me, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay here with me. And so he was completely, eyes were shut, and so I kissed him goodbye and everything, took his pranams, and I left. I was in the airport at 3 a.m. I got a call, and I told my brother, please tell me as soon as because I knew, he was not going to make it. So he told me that Dad is gone. So probably he went around 2:40 a.m. It was just a few hours after I left. So then I was in touch with this master, one of my teachers, and he said, I told him immediately that Father is passed. So he said, no, I'm going to do this prayer for him when the soul, see, we are in the lower planes, and if you want the soul to go to higher planes, you do a prayer. He said, I'll do that because you're traveling. So he's taught me all this, okay, and haven't done it for 15 years. I'm saying, okay, he's going to tell me to do it when I reach, right? So after I reached, and he said, Amma, don't worry, I'll take care of all the 11 days you're supposed to do, because we believe that the soul stays for 11 days on earth. It's like earthbound, wondering what's happening and all that. And that's why we have all these traditional prayers we do for 11 days, offering everything that he likes for 11 days. And then we finally send him to Vaikunta, the heavenly abode, after doing all of this priestly worships and everything. So why I'm coming to this point is that, so he said, I'll take care of it, don't worry about it. Then initially he said, you can feed 108 poor people, poor feeding. If you do 108, it's very good for the soul. I said, sure, no problem. Then he comes and says, your father lived like a king, so how about 1008? And I'm saying, 1008? Okay, now how much is that going to be? And so he told me, and I said, why I'm saying this is because sometimes what presents in your life is an impossibility, but you're in Sharanagati. Hello, 100% Sharanagati. So you say, okay, Guruji, okay, okay. So I said, okay, and I somehow came up, he said, you can give it to me later, but a certain time, because 11th day we have to forfeit. So I said, okay. So I was sitting there and figuring out all this. Anyway, the bottom line is, because this one said, I'm just going to do it. It's my dad. It's a one-time thing, like if I'm out of something, whatever, it'll come to me, So we did it. And can you believe the miracle? Where I'm coming to the point is that, so he said we can feed 1,008 people. Finally, 4,000 people were fed. For that amount I had sent, 4,000 people. It was just like mind-boggling. So what I'm saying is, this is the expansion that happens in the space of complete Sharanagati. You see, I'm just giving a simple analogy. That's how this life has been. I don't know when it happens. Okay. Because you have to come to that absolute comfort zone where you say, okay, you know what I mean? Can you come? Can you give up all your falsity and your little toys and your name and form and, oh, I'm just doing these things for all my life and I have to give this up and, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I have to go to this retreat. She's asking me to come, That is what it takes to come to total freedom. I'm not saying sit with this one, but that's what it takes, folks, So are you prepared? Can you come to that? I mean, are you understanding what is being said? Can you come to that, total Sharanagati, total surrender, and with humility? So then whatever happens to the body, whatever happens to the situation, whatever is happening in the world does not matter. Finally, one day when you check out, what is that you have gained? Tell me. A few shillings here, a few dollars, $1 million. You have $1 million, okay. How happy are you? Are you supremely happy? Are you supremely happy that the $1 million also is taken away, is robbed? Are you that unshakable reality? That's what I'm talking about. You have to come to that state where that unshakable reality, no matter what happened, what is happening around you, is that doable? Ultimately, it's only the Shiva consciousness that exists within you that takes you home and beyond. Nothing else in this world. See, what happens is also, I'll read one of Ramana's quotes in a minute. What he says, while all of this turmoil is going on also, you have to be doing your realization. So all these worldly things is happening. I'm not saying don't enjoy the world, don't enjoy the strawberries. But somebody bought you a like peach cobbler and saying, oh, I'm in meditation and I'm in Sharanagati, should I eat the peach cobbler? It has come to your world, it has come into your life. Somebody has presented you with this. The divine is gifting you with the peach cobbler. Why don't you freaking eat it? It's like that. So you have to have the discrimination to see what is the highest and best for you. You have to eat, you have to enjoy because God has created this beautiful life for you. But at the same time, parallelly, you have to be in the Sakshi, witnessing everything and saying, is this the highest and best for me? Makes sense? Is this the highest and best for me? The Sakshi witness is always there. When you recognize that this witness awareness is who I am, the master in you is who that is. Not, everything else in the world, because the world will take you here one day, you will, and oh, you're being used, and after everything, like I didn't want to say anything, not that's not positive. But in my heart, I felt, okay, I served my dad, and it's like perfection that God took me there and everything, and I just left. I didn't know when he was going to pass, but I knew it was very, very near, and I left. And everybody complained, oh, like she could have changed her, her ticket even in the airport, and she didn't wait to send him off. I have sent him off, you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to tell you this is because the world will come and start punching. So at that time, I was going to say, oh my God, what are they all going to think of me? Because a lot of visitors came to see my dad. So met them, all of them, and they're all just hugging me because I haven't met some of them for 30, 40 years. Then they went home and they said, oh, you're not going to stay? Even to me they said, and then later on they complained to my family, oh, how can she leave, So that's what I'm trying to tell you, an analogy that the world is going to be like that. Your own family, your own whatever environment is going to come at you. When it comes at you, who are you? You're falling apart. Am I going to sit in the plane and cry? I didn't even have a tear. When my brother said my father is passed, there was no tear. Because it's only a joy. Death is joy, You're leaving this physical, painful, reality and going into the infinite reality. So anyway, this is all this analogy I gave you to get a picture of, because you're moving from this dimension of absolute, I want to use some word, but I will refrain. It's like falsity and nonsense and, everything to complete serenity and tranquility and stability, because you're only completely in Sharanagati, in surrender with the universal consciousness within yourself, the Satchitananda within yourself. Then why do you need the world? In other words, you are interacting with the world because the world is also you. Ramana says the world also is you only. So you are interacting with the world. Everything is beautiful, but you know how to when to disconnect, when to chop. Just like I said, oh yeah, they're all talking about me, so what, See what I'm saying? So any questions? Actually, I didn't want to dilute it with some questions, but please. If you have any questions regarding what we've spoken thus far, please. And the Zoomers, please, you can send iChat or whatever. So this is Ramana's quote, which is similar to what we kind of explained. Realization must be amidst all the turmoils of life. If you make yourself comfortable, okay, and go to bed, you fall asleep. See, if you so you have to make yourself comfortable. In the night, when you make yourself comfortable, you fall asleep. There's no problem. When you're filled with all of these thoughts of anxiety, expectation, desires, then you're saying, oh, well, all these desires did not get done today. I had this little expectation of this list to be fulfilled. I did not fulfill, so you're rolling, tossing, turning, right? So he's, okay, phone. So then, if you make yourself comfortable and go to bed, you fall asleep. Face the troubles, but keep yourself steady in meditation. So all of this turmoil is coming, we are going through life. I'm telling you, like, stay in meditation, stay in Sharanagati, humility, surrender, and meditate, meditate, meditate. And then when you are interacting with the world, how can, and the world may be in turmoil. Are you in turmoil? If you follow these tools, will you be in turmoil? Will you be in turmoil? That's what I'm saying. See, otherwise there's no point in life. Simply we're just striving, doing this, doing that, running here, running there. What for? When you come back and you simply sit and meditate and be in that silence for 3 minutes, magic happens. Because my family, my older daughter from Boston, the whole jing bang is here. So every day I'm going in between the jet lag and in between the family visiting and in between some big event happening, back and forth, cooking, going back and forth. So how is this being in total peace and calm? When Krishna asked me, I said, I'm here. But you're not filled with anguish and turmoil and, oh my God, how I'm going to do this, Simply you just are in the moment, simply being the Sakshi, witnessing. And if you need the help, if you need a little bit of rest, you will simply sit down. That's one thing I want to tell you. Like any time when you're doing whatever God wants you to do or whatever, but when you feel a little bit, tired, you simply sit and rest. In those 3 minutes, simply you're flooded with that incessant energy of God, which is just beautiful, and it energizes you at that moment. Then you're able to go through the whole year also. At that moment, you'll have so much energy, you'll say, oh, I can do this, Oh, tomorrow is Satsang, oh, wow. And yesterday night was my granddaughter's 14th birthday. They said, you cannot come? I said, okay, 14th birthday, I cannot refuse. Okay, I will do so, I'll come. So I went there, came home at 9:30. They never do on Fridays before satsang, But how am I here today? What I'm trying to tell you is that even the normalcy of life, you have to simply embrace, if you have to embrace. The ones which you don't, any other thing, I just don't bother with it. So any other questions? Any questions based on this? Is this doable?
Joseph wrote you a nice poem.
Joseph?
A little long. Do you want me to
Okay.
read it?
Yeah, sure. There's one sadhaka who was with me for a long time and then he was gone somewhere. I mean, you guys do that to me, You come one day and then you're gone the next day, saying like, where is that bright soul? And I don't know. Somebody said like, make sure that Ma thinks of me. I'm here, but I can't make it to satsang. Sometimes, I'm very nice. Sometimes I'm not. And that has nothing to do with this personality because there's no personality. And there was this another question about, this, because we were, Krishna had to, I hope you don't mind me, Krishna. He had to reply to a sadhaka who was like, she was trying to say something to me and then I kind of say, okay, sure, bye-bye, So anyway, he had to reply. So he was trying to explain. I said, just make it short, short and sweet, and this is what my message is. So he was trying to come up with some, reply to her in a very sweet way. He's very sweet, so he wants to write a sweet thing. Then he was telling me, and I was just waiting there very patiently because we got together that day. And he was replying, so I was waiting very patiently and patiently and patiently, and I still did not say how long it's going to take, okay? But anyway, he was saying like, no, Ma, I read about this, about the gurus can do no wrong. Okay? Gurus can do no wrong, so I'm trying to be very, understanding with this person. Excuse me, here is the thing for Krishna as well as all of you, is that a true guru who is actually conducting their life with his total Sharanagati, who's conducting their life? Who's conducting their life? Their personality? Their Sharada Ma conducting the life? No. So it is that when that guru speaks, it is. So gurus can do no wrong. Yes, right, correct. We can do no wrong. You see what I'm saying? Cannot do no wrong because it is the infinite flowing through you. If I say something, chop that person off, sorry, got chopped because Shiva wanted it, the Shiva within you. So it's so that's the way it is, because something comes from this one. It is it's complete, coming from a space of Sharanagati, at the same time like unconditional love for everybody with compassion. So beyond that, if you want to go somewhere else, bye-bye, no problem. Okay. You can, yes, question?
I had a comment when you mentioned sometimes there's women. Oh, thank you. I had a comment that was brought up because you're mentioning sometimes you're mean. This really wasn't mean, but it was the first time that I was in Tiru, and part of that, the Sadhaka team that helped, and I wasn't really much help because after Satsang I was always in a puddle.
Yeah.
But anyway, at the very end, we had a retreat.
Right.
That was a silent retreat, like for 2 days, and somehow I assumed I was going to be invited to this retreat, but I wasn't invited.
Right.
I wasn't invited, and of course it just sits heavy in your heart, but at the same time, I accepted it. Okay, she knows. She's feeling it in her heart, and there were certain people she wanted there and certain people she didn't want there. And so I kind of accepted that, and that all would be well. I know some other people weren't invited too, and they kind of were pleading with Ma, let me come, let me come. But I didn't. I just accepted that, and it was such a good lesson. And then, of course, what happened? She decided to invite me.
Yeah.
So, but it was such a good lesson to sit with that.
So just not to interrupt, but she said it was a good lesson. So she learned the lesson. She recognized why I was not in. I don't know why, but she's made the decision. The moment that Sharanagati happened, she was invited. That's where the magic happens. That's where the expansiveness. So yes, Guru cannot be wrong. The true Gurus. And there are a lot of people who are, not really cooked, and they're there teaching, which is okay because they also, are giving it to the people who are that levels of consciousness. They cannot come here and be here because it is the vibration will burn. Arunachala burning.
I understood. Excuse me. I understood that it wasn't you and your personality had
Right.
nothing to do with liking me or not liking me, but that you feel Shambho in your heart, and Shambho tells you what. And that isn't the only time you said no to me.
Yeah.
There was another time I asked for something, and it was no. But I didn't have to take it personally.
Right.
What a lesson that is. What a lesson. It's beautiful.
So that comes again, right, because of humility.
Oh.
When in the face of humility, if you accept that, then everything becomes what a lesson. Mm-hmm. The recognition for you that, oh, what a lesson. When you're humble, when you're not humble and you have the ego, you can say, oh, well, I don't need to be in the satsang. Who does she think she is? You know what I mean? And I can go to other satsangs, like I don't need to be here. And I'll say, I love you, darling. Bye-bye, Okay, thank you, Barbara, for sharing. I appreciate that. So Krishna is going to read a poem, or what is that? It's a poem, okay. Wow.
Leela's play. Renunciation is no giving up, it is drinking from a deeper cup. To yield the self is not to fade from view, but to join a play of colors bright and new. Beyond the veil, Sharada Ma takes her trail to enter in my dream without a fail. She does not touch my sleep, but guides my mind to free me from the chains of Maya's bind. The master enters her own dream to wake the sleeping souls for her own spirit's sake. And she awakens us, she also grows, and closer to the source of light she goes. When I believe I dream alone, I cry, beneath the vast and solitary sky. The ego sees a cold and lonely space, a separate world without a warm embrace. I am the dreamer and the dream, it's true, for she is my God and I am God too. This realization sets the spirit free to dive into the cosmic, boundless sea. Thus God perpetuates this upward climb through endless layers of unfolding time. We leave the heavy sleep of Maya's night to dance in Leela's free and playful light.
Beautiful, beautiful. Joseph, thank you so much. That's, he was in the Q&A with Krishna the other day, and he said, okay, I'm just a baby, you guys. Like, I'm just a baby. What do you guys do? Like, how do you do it? And look at the poem, So everything that we have said in satsangs, he has said it in a short, beautiful poem. Thank you so much, Joseph. Appreciate it. Hope you're listening from somewhere, Zooming or something. He's on. Okay, you're on. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you so much. So, it's like he talks about the Maya, which is so important, right? When you're in this Sakshi mode, you recognize the Maya of the world. Brahman, Satyam, Jagat, Mithya. Finished one sentence, Brahman alone, the consciousness alone is the truth. And the Jagat is just a Mithya, illusory. So this bhajan we are going to play, which I think I've played sometime before. It's a beautiful, one of my favorites, because I said a little bit earlier about how we go into the Jagat and then we come back to rest. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva is my breath. Shiva is my dhyan, means my meditation. And there is only comfort. There is comfort when I am with Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. I was running behind the world and I felt I was running away from myself. I was running, away with the world, and I felt I was running away from myself. Every wish was so being fulfilled, but I felt my heart was still empty. My heart was empty. Because you go into the world and you fulfill everything. You're working, you're making money, whatever you're doing. But somehow deep within your heart you feel a little emptiness. When I sat quietly one day, the first time I noticed how Shiva was within me. Jab chupke baita hu means, when I'm slowly, softly, sitting quietly, I felt Shiva's grace in my heart. First time I noticed that Shiva was within me. Om Namah Shivaya. And then Karacharana Kritam Va Kaya Jamva Karma. It's a little mantra which we say after each meditation or after each worship. Because in the worship, we might have done some mistakes. So we are asking God for forgiveness. If I've done any mistakes for this, this is my forgiveness. That's just a mantra. And after all of that forgiveness, also when I looked into my heart, there was only my Shiva. When the mind got frustrated and I lost my path, he was the one who showed me back, put me back into the path. Whatever we achieve here stays here when we pass, which we talked a little bit about that. But knowing Shiva, you achieve it all. Knowing Shiva, achieve it all. Means Shiva is consciousness. Consciousness is your own Satchitananda within you. Once you recognize that infinite reality within you, you have achieved everything. Beyond the world, beyond all of this illusory thing that we used to believe, which the mind used to believe. Shiva is the only truth. Everything is only Maya, which Joseph so nicely put it. Shiva is Satya, Bhakti, Sab Maya. So Shiva is the only truth, and Baki Sab Maya means everything else is only Maya. Om Namah Shivaya. So we'll play that bhajan and we'll go into the meditation. Thank you so much. Sit comfortably. Take in a deep breath. Take in a deep breath, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, releasing and dropping everything that does not serve you. Take in a deep breath, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping even further, letting go, dropping all your desires. And taking a silent sankalpa to be established in truth, releasing all the maya, falsity from yourself. One last time, deep inhalation, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, releasing and dropping and just being, not being this or that, not even wanting freedom, just being, taking a little mini vacation, simply sitting in silence and observing the tranquility of the soul. Thank you. Slowly come out. Do not open your eyes yet. Slowly come out. Take in a gentle breath, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping everything that came up to be released. Inhale deeply, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale. One last time. Inhale deeply, inhaling light, peace, love. And exhale, dropping everything that does not serve you. And just being, even though we are coming out. Slowly open your eyes when you are ready. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Just one clarification. When Barbara was sharing about how she was not invited to the retreat, what happened is I was just it just came as a download that at that time I was just getting a no. So just for you to understand the state of being of the gurus, we pretty much have no idea. We have no say in the matter. So I was getting no, and And I love everybody so much that I want everybody to come. All of a sudden, in 2 days, her energy field shifted. The moment her energy field shifted, I got a yes. So, it's nothing to do with us. And even the other one was telling, he was trying to help to write a letter to somebody. One of the sadhakas just adored this child, Because there's so much of compassion and love and love for everybody. Because when this can happen to this one, so you can also easily come to that state of being, don't you think? This one is not so special or anything. You can all come to the state, this irrevocable state of mastery in humility. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your presence. Thank you to all the Zoomers who came, and we'll meet you next time, next Satsang. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Jai Shankar. Jai Shankar.